Let's go to our topic of the week. The Ramadan month and the week-long Idul-Fitri celebrations that marks the end of the holy month has provided a significant contribution to the country's economy as an increase in the people's expenditures that has boosted regional economic activities.
The consumption for food is usually higher during the fasting month, as the people generally tend to serve more foods and drink to break the fast. Meanwhile, at the end of the fasting month, millions of people also travel to their hometowns to celebrate the Idul-Fitri together with families and relatives. The high mobility of the people from urban to suburban and rural areas has contributed to sharp increase in money circulation, which bring windfall profits to local businesses. The increase in the people's expenditures is also supported by the government's policy to require state and private companies to pay out the 13-month wage 1 or 2 weeks before the start of Idul-Fitri, in addition to a week-long collective leave for government and private companies' employees. Last year, the mobility of 132 million people during the annual homecoming season, known locally as Mudik or Exodus, generated economic turnovers of up to 240 trillion rupiah or 14.78 billion US dollars. Meanwhile, this year, the economic impact from the annual homecoming trips is estimated to be much bigger, as Transportation Ministry has estimated that about 193.6 million people, equivalent to approximately 71.7% of Indonesia's population, joined the Idul-Fitri Exodus this year. The number accounts for 56.4% compared to the movement observed during the Idul-Fitri in 2023. With such a huge number of homecoming travelers, economists estimate that the annual exodus this year could generate economic turnovers of at least 320 trillion rupiah, assuming that each person spends between 1.5 million rupiah and 1.7 million rupiah. The economic impact of Ramadan and Idul-Fitri has brought a positive impact on the economic growth in the first and second quarter of this year. The seasonal effects of Ramadan and Idul-Fitri helps drive the growth in the first quarter and second quarter of 2024 to reach more than 5% year-on-year, thanks to the surge in the household consumption. The annual religious ritual of the Indonesian Muslim community has provided windfall profits to a number of business sectors such as transportation, accommodation, tourism, and MSME sectors, especially those engaged in selling food and souvenirs. In the MSME sector, the positive impact of this annual religious ritual has occurred since the start of the fasting month. Since the beginning of Ramadan, sales of food and drinks have experienced a high increase. The Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, Sandiaga Uno, has estimated that the annual holidays generate economic turnovers of at least 276.11 trillion rupiah in the tourism industry, such as hotels and tourist destinations, as well as in the creative economy, such as souvenirs and handcraft products. Undoubtedly, the annual homecoming season has significantly helped empower the local economy. Hopefully, the local governments can encourage the local businesses to use the extra incomes during the Idul-Fitri holidays to further grow their businesses.
Let's go to our dialogue today, where we will be discussing about the economic impact of the Mudik tradition from Jakarta to Java and the surrounding areas in Indonesia. And we have today with us Bapak Tauhid Ahmad, the Executive Director of Institute for Development of Economics and Finance, or in short INDEF, where he will share his insights on the impact of the annual homecoming season on regional economics. Hello, Pak Tauhid. Thank you so much for being here with us on Economic Outlook for the first time.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're happy to have you here. First question, Pak Tauhid, we know that the Mudik celebration is almost like a big celebration because everyone suddenly go back from the capital all the way to Java, some to Sumatra and Sulawesi, other islands around Indonesia. And of course, there is a sharp increase in the money circulation from the urban to all these rural areas around Indonesia. In your opinion, How significant is this impact of the homecoming tradition?
Yeah, if we see our previous data, that we are 4 quarter that if we had Mudik tradition on that quarter, usually our economic growth very fast rather than the others quarter. So if the Mudik in this quarter, so I think the second quarter more faster rather than first or the third or the fourth. So why? Because that already mentioned that 200 trillion more that spend of the money of the people make our consumption bigger rather than before. So we spend to food and beverage and also to the tourism and other sectors. So for the region, I think if the region is the base their homecoming, I think will grow their economic growth. Yeah, why they spend 1 or 2 weeks spend their money, so they need food, they need drinks, also they need also local transportation and also a lot of activity that spend their money over that. So I think it's very useful to our regional economic growth.
And of course, now we really feel the impact again after
Yes.
the COVID pandemic. Now
Yes.
everyone is going back finally to their villages. It's almost normal now.
Yeah.
And just now you mentioned that the impact can be felt in the food industry, in the tourism industry, and of course there's also transportation.
Yes.
But what business sectors do you think receive the most benefit from this Mudik tradition?
Of the modest, I think the biggest one is the food sector. Yeah, because in the Mudik sector, including Ramadan and Eid Mubarak, I think because they spend more. Yeah, usually they spend only on egg, but on egg for Eid. Yeah, and then they they eat beef and also a lot of animal food. So they spend on that food. So the second one, yeah, I think is the transportation. Yeah, they hire a car or another transportation. So they a lot of maybe around 30% or 40% spend their money on transportation, because if we live in Jakarta or surrounding Jakarta, yeah, the biggest one they think is how much money they spend for the transportation. They spend to surrounding to Java Island or other Java. So that statistical data mentioned that outside from Jakarta to other province in Indonesia, around 30% they incoming to Jakarta. So every year a lot of people spend their money to this transportation. So I think that's the two biggest one, and then third is tourism. Of course, hotel also, and also the restaurant will take a gain for this moment.
Yes, and of course, celebration always brings that mindset that, oh, we are here to celebrate. Yeah. We are okay to spend,
yes,
spending on food, and especially it's Ramadan season, so people will enjoy, having a get-together and to cook, of course. Now, do you think the government has actually worked well enough to make this Idul-Fitri as a momentum to grow our economy in the rural areas?
Yeah, I think government has a good role for this moment, because they arrange the time also and after 1 weeks, maybe two weeks. They
actually
give,
this year felt
yes,
really
a bit
long.
longer. So the government gave rule to the people to spend their time and money also, and they give us add payment to ours, Ramadan THR we call it, and then government also make some rule how to make our transportation more easier rather than before, like one way, and I think that's a government role for our moment. Yeah, I think it's a very important role that's government proved it to the last moment. Yeah.
Now, this Ramadan season, this holiday lasted around 2 weeks, and
yes,
of course we can, the people in the villages can feel the impact.
Yes.
But it's still short term.
Yes, short
How
term.
do you think the government can do? What can they do to make the impact of this Ramadan economic growth last longer then?
Yeah,
or
I think
something more permanent.
Yeah, I
perhaps?
think government should talk with the local people and should talk with the regional leaders. Yeah, how they collect all the visitor to their kampung or their village to invest more, not spend on the short term
Investment, yes.
Invest. Yeah, so they spend. Yeah, they promote even 1 or 2 days. Yeah, they promote what the local economy can develop by investor. Like me come to the Central Java, and then what they can do, not only charity, yeah, but spend their money and invest to local economic.
What kind of investment are we talking about?
Yes, if each region, yeah, has a lot like local advantages. Like in Sumatra, they have palm oil. So if they can collect all money from the investor that coming from the city, there is a more chance, yeah, for the palm oil for 1 or 2 hectares. So they come back, not only spend their money on consumption, but spend their money to investment. So they can monitor, they can come back in every year or every 6 months to monitor the investment. Like in Java, I think on the veterinary, and also a lot of chance that we can do in the local
So instead
regions.
of the impact feeling just temporary, but
Yes.
we're making people to actually invest, making
Yes.
it more permanent.
Yes.
That is such a good point right there, Pak Tauhid. Now, Indonesia's economic growth has been pretty slow this year, although we are having a target of 5.2%. Do you think that this extra spending during this Ramadan, which is better than the previous year
Yes.
during COVID, will help us meet our economic growth?
No, I think, yeah, I think 5.2 is quite ambitious, yeah, because the challenge now more difficult than maybe government plan, because this year we have problem with the global economic risk,
geopolitical tensions,
geopolitics,
yes.
not local, that impact to our export. Now our surplus more decrease rather than maybe maybe 3 or 4 months previous. So that's the one challenge. The second challenge is we maybe in the next month or 2 months, yeah, we face our oil palm price. So it make our budget more higher, and then maybe the risk to inflation, the risk of the rate also to the bank is also also increase. So make our challenge in economic more difficult next year. So I think 5.2 is so difficult. So maybe 5.0 is, I think, is achievable.
More
Realistic rather than
target.
Yes.
Now, the high mobility of people during the annual Mudik season, of course, it's always leading to traffic congestion.
Yes.
And this has been a problem year after year, although now we have better highways.
Yes.
Do you think the government has been addressing this problem well? And what else can be done?
Yeah, I think for Java there is no problem, because government have role play with one way. Jakarta to the central, there's
accident happens, yes.
But the problem is between Java and to Sumatra. We have problem now with the economic growth. A lot of people of Sumatra become rich in Java. They come back to their village in Sumatra Island. But the problem always the harbor. So because supply of car is too many in the short term. So the problem because because the harbor and also the ship not enough to provide
to the demand,
yes, the demand. So I think the government should prepare for the next year, for this problem.
What can the government do then?
Yeah, I think maybe we have to look for maybe in the last president, I think from the president of SBY has announced to make a long bridge between Java and also to Sumatra. I think it's maybe one opportunity to us.
Okay. Now, final question. This Mudik season also encourage urbanization, as many families, of course, they bring relatives back here to Jakarta. And there's worries that this would increase our unemployment rate here in Jakarta. What is the solution to this?
Yeah, unemployment rate in Jakarta around 6%. I think higher than national around 5%.
see.
So the problem is, if you come to Jakarta, you have more hard skill. You have to skillful with a lot of experience. So if you want to compete with the local people with more good education, also good skill, so you come back to Jakarta to compete to them is more skill. The second one, I think you have a lot of learn how to make a small scale business, because maybe half of the people Jakarta live as businessmen. So if you want to work as a worker, you can play a businessman a little bit, maybe in small scale business, or maybe if you have opportunity to make it like a medium or high business. So I think that's only two chances. The third one, you have to know about the opportunity. Now Jakarta is the center of the services center, so you make change your ability, your skill to services area rather than another capability.
So you're saying that you can come to Jakarta, you're welcome, but make sure you have the right skill to get the employment.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Pak Tauhid Ahmad, Executive Director of INDEF, thank you so much for being here at Economic Outlook.
Thank you.
And look forward to having you here back again. Thank you.
Thank you.